Hey everyone, how's it going today?
Now, me and Uncivil, we covered the last KJP debacle, right? The whole Toddy Westbrook
Yes,
lawsuit. And that
yes,
ended with us being vindicated, right? We were vindicated with that lawsuit,
yes.
right?
We were vindicated. You more so than me because you had more faith in it. But yeah, I tracked my reasoning, so I was very happy.
People even were talking about, hey, that guy Nate the lawyer and Kurt, they're lawyers and they know what the hell they're talking about. Remember that? You
Yeah,
know what we're talking about.
yeah.
So they're back at it again. Now, Katie Joy's got another lawsuit. Surprise, 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 right? So Toddy Westbrook sued her, said, I want to know the source. Katie Joy gave up the source, right? And that source had to be Clark Swanson.
Yeah,
Surprise. Right? It
yeah,
was fantastic. It was fantastic. We had lawyers saying they wanted courts to qualify them as attorneys. All right. It was a crazy time. So she settled that one. And now she said some things about Todd Chrisley. Now, do you know who Todd Chrisley is from Chrisley Knows Best?
I don't know who this is. Yeah, I didn't know who Katie Joy was at the start of that either. So yes, bring another person into my universe. Who is Todd Chrisley?
Season will be the time that we find out whether or not our parenting is working.
Todd and Julie Chrisley have officially been indicted for bank fraud, and now they face up to 30 years in prison. According to the indictment filed in Georgia, both Todd and Julie have been charged with 11 counts related to bank fraud and tax evasion. Officials claim the heads of the Chrisley clan set up a production company called Seven Seas Productions, which receives all the money earned through their popular reality show Chrisley Knows Best, and then pays out salaries to the family. The officials say that millions of dollars were deposited into the production company account over the years, but the reality stars didn't file tax returns in time for 2014, 2015, and 2016.
Like, there's no scene complete unless Todd is on the scene. So I hear that you signed some damn near $1 million production deal to produce a whole bunch of shows based off your
more
family.
Than $1 million.
Well, now who are you, Todd Chrisley? What are you doing?
Listen, we are very blessed people.
When you talk about the Chrisleys, they have a show on USA Network. This guy's a millionaire. I would have never thought that he even knew who Katie Joy Paulson was, or his family would have known who Katie Joy Paulson was. But the first thing we have to go through.
He seems like, based on what I know so far, he seems like Katie Joy Paulson is a little beneath him, to be honest.
Yeah, they're not at the same level, right? But for somehow, Katie Joy Paulson became friends with his daughter and started getting inside information.
Okay.
Now, since we're doing this, since we're evaluating the situation, I have to bring receipts, right? You can't just take my word for that, right?
That'd be helpful.
All right. So I gotta bring us some receipts. Katie Joy Paulson talking about Todd Chrisley's daughter, and we're listening to see if she says that they are friends.
She put this over on her Twitter stating, "One thing I know to be true about Lindsay Chrisley is that she doesn't need anyone to be her mouthpiece. She has 2 podcasts and a large following. If she needs to say something, she says it. She has never relied on me to speak for her. She's a strong woman who can stand on her own. She's a wonderful friend with a kind heart and incredibly loyal. She's been through a lot the past few years, and right now she's going through a divorce. So I'm going to go back to being there for my friend and let my attorneys deal with the rest."
Is that her friend? So I'm going back.
I mean, she
to
says
being there for my friend. But yeah, so that's only one piece of the pie, right? That's only one piece of the pie. Todd Chrisley's confession, July 21st.
I would say within the next 3 to 4 weeks, she runs a tabloid, or not even a tabloid. I mean, she works out of her house. I mean, she doesn't have shit. It's called Without a Crystal Ball. Now, she has written about our family because she's friends with Lindsay, my oldest daughter. So she just writes whatever Lindsay, whatever she wants to write, or whatever Lindsay's told her, or whatever. And yes, I have some of those screenshots of those messages that were sent, where this lady Without a Crystal Ball was messaging with another third party, sending screenshots of messages that she had.
So, do you need to hear any more?
Not really, but I mean, right away, my first thought, because we're going to be talking about defamation in a second, my first thought is that Without a Crystal Ball has a pretty good source of information in the view of Lindsay.
Todd, on August 4th, again, saying Katie was absolutely in contact with his daughter.
Yes, there was family participation with Katie Joy. She's already acknowledged that. I've got it in text messages. I've got it where Katie Joy talks about that she and Lindsay discussed my sexuality and that Lindsay would not. Let me just read it to you. I'll go ahead and read it because I'm bored today and I want to make sure that I say everything correct. Okay, so here it is. On 6/10/2020, Lindsay refuses to discuss the rumors of her dad's sexuality. She gets really pissed about it. I've never ever heard her be supportive of the LGBTQ. Now, this is what Katie Joy Paulson is saying about Lindsay, that she's not supportive of the LGBTQ. Folks, does that sound like a best friend? And this individual comes back and says, wow, don't know much about that. I just believe Lindsay is out of her place. I get the impression that Lindsay is decent, but defending Kaylin makes her appear blind, stupid, or in her likeness. Katie Joy responds, she's a nice person, but I don't know. She just pops off easy.
This seems like Katie Joy had some type of relationship with Lindsay. What do you think?
Right. We kind of established that, didn't we?
Yeah, but this is just more proof to that effect.
So if I'm understanding this text message correctly, Katie Joy is venting to a third party.
Yes.
That Lindsay never talks to her about the dad's sexuality.
Correct.
Okay. All right. I'm on board now.
All
okay.
Right. This is from the 9/14. So now we're in September, a month later. Last month it was Katie Joy absolutely was getting inside information. So this is now September 4th day. So this is what he said September 4th. Now, the first thing I need to let you understand is that he's involved in a civil suit. So in that civil suit, his daughter, which is part of the civil suit, had to be deposed. So he asked her certain questions about Katie Joy Paulson during that deposition.
Depositions are great.
Organize her thoughts and get the information to you. Now, folks, remember, we're in the midst of depositions with this whole Georgia Department of Revenue stuff right now. So we've now had successfully 4 depositions. One of those depositions is my oldest daughter, Lindsay, who I understand does not wish for me to refer to her as that, so I'll refer to her as Lindsay. Lindsay has now been deposed, and in Lindsay's deposition, the question was asked, did you ever share personal information about your father, Todd Chrisley, or the rest of the family with Katie Joy Paulson? No, I did not. Now, folks, here's the issue. That was either a lie or Katie Joy Paulson lied. Either way, we're going to find out who the person was that lied, and that's going to be found out in deposition and through the subpoenaing of records.
The question is vague a little bit. It should have been, there should be more specific follow-up questions. It should have been not, have you ever shared personal information? Because what does personal information mean exactly? It should have been, have you ever shared this or talked about that? Should have been, the question's a little malformed in my view.
It goes on to the whole, was Katie Joy her friend? Getting personal information. Was she not her friend? Was she getting any information? There's a lot to be discovered,
I find it difficult to believe that, I mean, literally, depending on how you understand the scope of the question, which is why it's a little bit vague and it could be a little bit narrower. But depending on the widest scope of the question, it's hard to believe that can be true. Just by talking, you share personal information is almost necessarily true. So
that's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Right now, the first issue that we have to kind of resolve is is Katie Joy getting information from the daughter? Do they have some type of relationship?
Well, that seems clear. Katie says so, and so does Lindsay. They've talked to each other. They both. Well, at least we got it from the father. I mean, strictly speaking, I haven't heard from Lindsay, but we'll take it as a given. Yeah, they do seem to have some kind of relationship that can be thought of as friendly. That seems to be true.
Do you think she was getting this information from Lindsay?
Well, I think she was getting some. I would imagine that in talking to someone, it would be very likely that they would share details of their life, which might very well include information about their family. So, she may not have thought about it and put it that way, but yeah, I think Katie Joy was getting information from that.
Let's go to the elements required for defamation, because now we're going to get into the defamatory statements, because now we know the players, we know kind of how everybody's connected. Let's get to defamatory statements. I've gotten defamation into these 5 elements, but it should really be 6, but I'll just put 5. The first thing, you need a false statement, right? About or concerning the plaintiff. The second part of the statement. Number 3, it's got to be published to a third party. You got to tell someone else about the statement. The 4th is it has to harm their reputation, right? It has to be defamatory statements aren't just false statements. They're statements that harm someone's reputation. And 5th is that you have to prove that you've been damaged by the defamation. The defamatory statement that harmed your reputation, that damaged you in some way, loss of income, something. And those are the 5 things you have to prove for defamation. Now, there's also defamation per se, but that's only when the statement is so insidious that the law assumes that your reputation is harmed and therefore you've been damaged. Something like saying that you've been committed of some type of crime, right? If you're a criminal.
Crime, trade, a woman's history with men.
Yes.
Those are some classic examples from common law.
Yeah, but more recently, though, this is a pretty high standard to get defamation per se, and you're really talking about, somebody's committing some type of crime and things that again can be proven to be false. So, because if it can't be proven to be false, you're really talking about an opinion. Go ahead.
Yeah, that is the classic definition, right? An opinion can't be shown to be false or not.
Yeah.
Whereas, so if it's defamation, the first question you got to ask yourself, is this opinion or is this a fact? And then you also can ask yourself the sort of side question where it can strictly be spoken as an opinion, but the opinion implies that you have secret information. So the opinion is expressing a fact. So you can have that too.
But now also one thing that we left off the chart is the actual malice standard, because it's obvious Chrisley is a public figure and actual malice standard is going to apply.
Yeah, I think with a big TV show and national audience and appearing on talk shows, I think we got public figure in the bag.
Yeah,
blinking an eye.
So that would mean that he would have to, unfortunately, overcome the burden of showing that this statement that she said this knowingly false, whatever statement we're talking about, she said this knowingly false or just disregarded the truth, right? So so generally, if you have someone's daughter telling you these things, and then you say them, you're more or less covered from actual malice because you have a great source for the information. Does that make sense, Kurt?
Yeah, and the daughter passing information may or may not strictly be speaking relevant, because as we saw from the YouTube videos, people have been speculating about this topic for some time. So there appears to be information in the zeitgeist that people can reach that conclusion. Yeah. So, I mean, it seems borderline impossible that she can know it to be false. How would that even work in principle, that she knows for a fact?
All right, so this next clip is the defamatory statement 1, that he believes is defamatory.
Now, you know this for a
said
fact.
By Katie
Is this
Joy.
in a complaint yet, or are you just speculating at this
No,
point?
this is not in any complaint. No complaint has been filed. This is just from what he's saying on his podcast. So we're going to what he's saying. So this is not what I'm saying. This is not. We're going to listen to the clip, and you tell me, do you believe that this is one of his claims of defamation? Listen to what he says in context.
Now, I want to make sure that everyone understands that the reason that I brought this topic up today is because Kyle has done a lot of bad things in his life, from drugs, alcohol abuse, not being there for his daughter. A lot of bad things, a lot of bad choices Kyle has made. But Kyle is on the best track that he has been on since I can remember.
Kyle is his son.
He's drug-free. He's alcohol-free. He works every day. He does what he's supposed to do. So what I won't do is allow tabloids to write that Kyle was the one that turned me in or tried to take me down. and let everyone around him that used him as the pawn to do it escape and act like they had nothing to do with it, because that's not true. There were 4 individuals that were involved.
So that's the first thing that she has a problem with, because Joy Paulson allegedly reported that his son Kyle helped take him down about this statement. This is Kyle. This is Kyle, his son. This is what his son said.
Now reportedly caught in a brewing Georgia tax investigation, and his own son Kyle speaking out against him.
I'd like to see him held accountable.
Investigators reportedly looking into claims Chrisley lives in Florida, which has no state income tax, while records obtained by ABC affiliate WSB revealing he declared himself a legal Georgia resident in numerous court filings in 2010 and 2011. Kyle, who is now estranged from his family, says his father bragged about not paying taxes in Georgia.
Were you ever really a Florida resident?
No, we went there for really vacation for in the summer, and that was really the only time we ever went. We lived here in Georgia.
So it seems like the son has been involved in some part of taking him down. So if Joy Paulson has said that Todd was involved in taking him down, that seems to be true by his admission. So,
well, all right. So let's even go one farther. Here is Todd Chrisley confirming that Kyle was the one who turned him in.
My oldest son, Kyle, his ex-wife, Alexis Wilby, and Lindsay all worked with the Georgia Department of Revenue and Josh Waits to bring these charges. Now, there's been articles written that says Todd owes an apology. I don't owe an apology. Kyle has already admitted what he did. But Kyle did not act alone. Kyle acted in concert with his ex-wife, Alexis, and with Lindsay. They all 3 were involved. Now, this Without a Crystal Ball wants to write one excerpt from the suppression hearing that says that Kyle did a FaceTime or did a call, or it was proven that Kyle was the one that turned us in. Turned us in for what? The Georgia Department of Revenue had to acknowledge that it went from a $2 million tax liability to I think it was $70-something thousand, and they owed us refunds on 4 other years. So that's
what?
In for the Georgia Department of Revenue by any means. This Katie, or whatever her name is, that does Without a Crystal Ball, but she is being sued now for slander because we have someone that screenshots everything that she posts, and we've got her. She's also being deposed, and she's going to be deposed in September or October.
So,
okay, so I don't understand the false statement of fact. So he says that Kyle was involved in concert with other people to turn him in for tax evasion. Okay, and that's the claim Katie Joy is making, that that Kyle was the person who turned him in, which seems to be true from what he just said. Then he has this weird statement, turned in for what? Because Georgia had to admit something. I'm like, okay, I don't understand this.
Well, we saw that earlier.
But I fundamentally don't understand the point, because what materialized from the process is irrelevant to the underlying claim. Like, for example, I could turn you in for, I don't know, shoplifting or something.
Looking too good on camera.
It doesn't make it true. It doesn't mean that you're going to be indicted or charged or anything. But if you said that I turned you in, and I'd be like, well, it don't turn in for, or you said turn in for what? I did. I mean, I still turned you in. So this underlying statement's still true. What's the point?
Yeah. I don't know what Todd's doing here.
He turned you in for tax evasion, and you settled out for $150,000 instead of $2 million. Okay, how does that mean that he didn't turn you in?
No, none of that. It's slander. He's saying it's slander and defamation. So
it doesn't sound like it sounds true.
So that's the first defamation claim.
Unless I'm missing something.
So let's start with this claim. Do you think this is a plausible claim of defamation? Or is it muddy enough where this won't survive a motion to dismiss?
It won't survive a motion to dismiss given the facts that are presently before me.
Yeah. I don't think, unless there's something else.
The statement is true. If the statement is, I have this friendship with this person, that's true. If the statement is, Kyle turned him in. That's true. From what he just said. I mean, so like, what more do you want from me?
We haven't get done. That's just the first claim. So we got to get through more claims.
It has to be a false fact. That's kind of element number one of defamation.
Yeah.
If it's true, you're done.
Well,
so,
okay. Yeah. All right. So he has more claims. So that's not it. So because people are like,
claim one was lame as hell.
Yeah,
so
he's on GMA, and also too, just so everybody understands too, he's there's also media outlets that covered this. Like here's the Sun. Chrisley knows best star Todd Chrisley's son, Kyle, 29, secretly turned parents to police before tax fraud charges. So
that appears to be true based on what Todd said.
You're not even basing it on this news article? The news article?
Well, there's no source better than Todd. Todd is the best source possible because he's the one that's going to be bringing this claim. He can't, if he says it's true, he can't then say it's false.
Let's go to claim 2 then. So claim 1, you say no ball, right? This is junk. Is it junk? Now at what level are we at? It was 50-50, or this is like a nothing burger.
Given the way that you're presenting it to me, it's a slam dunk loser. I mean, it doesn't get any worse than the purported plaintiff themselves saying, yes, that happened, it's true. Also, I want to sue because it's false. I don't know how that can possibly work in the same universe. So given what you're telling me, given the construction, it's a certified loser. 100%.
And maybe it's
not close.
And if people are missing it, if I'm not sharing the right files, that because I think it's hard to disagree. He's the one saying this, right? I'm playing you his words. I'm not telling you what he's saying. I'm saying listen to it and tell me what you think. All right.
Yeah.
Claim 2. Now, there are 2 claims he's going to make here. First, that Katie Joy Paulson claimed that Todd kept his children from their mother. And the second claim is Todd is gay. So those are the 2 defamatory statements that he's saying that Katie Joy Paulson made. Listen for them.
We've gone through all of this, and I can't tell you how many things that she has reported with, and I have a source. I have verified this. Nowhere in public documents does it say that I kept my children from their mother. As a matter of fact, if she had done her research, she would know that my 2 oldest children's mother owes me over $1 million in back child support, and she's never paid it. Nor did she ever exercise her visitation. So you can't keep somebody from someone who doesn't want to show up. So she didn't find that in public documents, folks. She didn't find in public documents where I am gay. She didn't find that there. She speculated that, folks. She put it in a video. It's out there, just like she said it about so many other people. This woman talks because she has no one to talk to.
Okay. All right. That it's in no public document. Okay, fine. Premise accepted. But that doesn't mean it isn't true, or that she might have other sources. Like, for example, the children would know that. I mean, they would know if they were kept from their mother or not. So, yeah. If that's her source, that would be pretty good. The fact it's in no document. If the child says, I was kept from my mother, I think it's pretty good, reliable sources. And then on the sexuality thing, again, there seems to be a lot of speculation in that domain. It depends a lot on what, Lindsay might have said that she might not be aware of that. So I do not have sufficient information to adjudicate at this time, but I'm dubious on the claims.
Well, first, let's start with the first claim. What is it that she told that what was? Hold on, let me read it.
That they were kept from the from the mother.
The children were kept from, because Todd's been married before, so the children were kept from the mother. Can you prove that statement false? You can prove it's true, whether it's true or false, right? You could prove it, right?
Yes.
So next we're on, was it about the plaintiff? Well, this one, that he kept his kids from his daughter, yes. Was it published to third parties?
Yes.
I'll give that.
So, reputation, I would think.
Do you think he can prove that he's been damaged by her saying this?
That's going to be tough. That would be tough. You'd have to, the damages element will be a little bit tricky, I think, to show that some sort of manifest damages. Yeah, I don't know.
Can this claim survive actual malice?
Yeah, Katie either has to know it's false or recklessly disregard. Well, she can't know it's false. She wasn't there. She can't know it's false. So that element is out of the equation. There's no way that she could know it's false. So did she recklessly disregard the truth? Well, with respect to the gay issue, there seems to be enough to form that opinion. That might be an opinion rather than a statement of fact too. And recklessly disregard, I don't know. As to the keeping children away from their mother, it's like, what is your basis for believing that? If it comes from the children, it's a pretty good source. If she has some sort of private source, then, if any of the kids are saying it, even if they're saying it about other children. If Kyle is saying that, a different sibling was kept from their parents, they would know. I mean, they were there. Yeah, recklessly disregarding the truth seems like it's going to be, because there's no public documents that would presumably say that he was, keeping you from me. So there's no documents either way. So it'd be a little bit hard to show reckless disregard for the truth, I would think. So I'm not feeling this defamation. It's not as much as a slam dunk as number one, but it's, much more likely than not, it seems to me. I'm not feeling the defamation over here.
Those are Chrisley's claims.
Okay, his claims are horrible.
Those are his 3 claims. So these 3 claims, he's got this lawsuit building up. He's going after her, and he's saying that he's suing her for these claims, and he doesn't want to settle. He wants to go to trial, and he's going to do all this. So
he's not going to get that far.
You don't think it survives a motion to dismiss? Are we crazy?
I don't think so. I mean, the first one, he says it's true, so we're done. Second,
it's not about him. It's about his son.
This is true. So there's that. Yeah, that's a very fair point. So I might fail on that element as well. But I just got stuck on number 1 because he's like, he admits it's true.
You're like, why even go to number 2? Because number 1 is so good.
I stopped at step 1 of the analysis. It's like, I'm done. It's like, true, it wasn't about the plaintiff. I'm like, oh yeah, step 2 also fails. I just hadn't gone that far down in the tree. You're right. That too.
Oh my God.
So that claim's not going anywhere. As to the other claims, I guess it would depend. Maybe, if Katie Joy Paulson has any sort of text messages or conversations. Have you shared any personal information? No. That's such a broad, amorphous question. That's a bad question, counselor. That's a bad question.
But we haven't even understand too that he's been going on for all these other weeks saying that how well they knew each other, how they were friends, how they had this relationship. Yeah. So it's hurting the cause here.
Given all that, I think there's a pretty decent probability that Katie Joy has had information shared with her that would lead her to those views.
And it
seems like she might well be in the clear.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of.
We're not going to get to depositions in this case. I don't see it happening. It seems like a motion to dismiss. It's always fun to discuss these issues, try to analyze them, and try to give a good legal analysis. The legal analysis is the same. It looks like Katie Joy Paulson hasn't done anything wrong, at least. So, people can have whatever opinions they want about her. But in terms of legal reality, I'm not seeing it right now.
Well, let's do this. We have to wait till they file the actual paperwork in court. So again, that'll
be irritating to see what the actual paperwork looks like.
This is all speculation at this time. So we don't know. We don't know what the claims are. We're just actually playing his clips of what he's saying and just trying to deduce whether he has a legal claim based on what he's saying.
Maybe he has more specific claims. Maybe he has more specific claims that have better foundation.
But people hopping around and yelling that these are the greatest claims, and he's this.
The claims are horrible. Claims are horrible.
These claims aren't it.
Even the kept the mother from the kids is not really great. It's just passes the laugh test, unlike the first one, which absolutely does not.
Hey guys, so listen, if you let us know in the comment section if you think Todd Chrisley is going to win or if you think Todd Chrisley is going to lose. Do you agree with our assessment? I know a lot of you are going to be saying, "Oh my God, Nate again is defending Katie," or "Uncivil law, you love Katie Joy Paulson no matter what you say, you love her. And it's like, no, I'm just looking at what the guy said and just giving you my opinion on whether he has a case or not. That's all we're doing, right? And we don't even know if these are actually going to be his claims. This is just what he's been saying. So go ahead, Kurt. You get the final word.
No, yeah, I just try to analyze the factors as best as I can. Always, sometimes reach conclusions I don't like, but that's the way law goes. You don't always get what you want, so try to analyze it honestly. And maybe maybe he'll have something really, really great, and his complaint will make a lot more sense. If that happens, I'll be happy to cover that too.